You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. We have good in abundance, overflowing with goodness, transformational goodness today when you meet a remarkable guest, Sir Alec. And I'm not kidding when I say Sir Alec. Welcome to the Joy of Living. You have tuned in consciously and conscientiously to this podcast for one reason and one reason only. It's the best reason in the entire world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. Y-O-U, that's right. And that's great, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more harmony, build more bridges, you create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And you have tuned in today, joined by 348,613 people around the world, all of whom are focused on becoming the best version of yourself. And that's great, because on this show we discuss the three fundamentals of life. And when you use these three fundamentals, the result will be you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? So of course the three fundamentals are, number one, life, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, you can go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to unlock the power and the secrets of everyday terms. Everyday terms. Simple example. Right now, this particular show is being carried over the internet. And if you ask anybody, what does www stand for? Invariably, it has to do with the internet. And factually speaking, they're correct. But in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? W-H-A-T-A. Whenever you hear the opening bars of that amazing song, What a Wonderful World, thank you, Louis Armstrong, tip of the hat to Satchmo, what do you do right away? You can't help it. You smile. Now, that song has gone around the world and touched not just tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. And every time that people hear it, they light up, they smile. Now, SMILE is one of the most important acronyms you can ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because SMILE stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. Isn't that wonderful and fabulous? Now, I got to tell you, thank God we're back to speaking people in person. I just did a show. We had 1,176 people, not a mask in the house, everybody upbeat and hugging and energy and such. And I was telling the story about Barry Shore and seeing miracles in life every day. And people raising their hands and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours. I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. You have water to drink, you have food to eat, you have a place to sleep, you have family, you have friends. Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simple as proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, to live life exuberantly. Now, imagine the following. Standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. That's me. And in the evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. And it was not from an automobile accident, not a spinal injury, a rare disease which I never heard of the day before, took over my body and rendered me what's called a quadriplegic. That means nothing of my body moved from my neck down. All I could do was communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital, paralyzed. 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home. I couldn't turn over by myself. 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, from my hips to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. I still can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. And I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. All because of this one word. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. But I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago. She says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. Smile sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. Because she says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. How do you like that? An 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym. It stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Rethinking, we call it fancy term, neuro-linguistic programming, but it's really about how you think about situations. And when you do that, you will be able to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn, and that will help you shift your perspective in life. And you got to be careful about your F's. Most of the time I work with people, they drop the F and shift, and the other stuff happens. You got to be careful, F and careful with your F's. You want to shift your perspective. These 6 words are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation determines what's going to happen for you. Now, I got to warn you, my new listeners, we already have always 330,000 people every week. But now you think, oh, by the time Alec comes on, we'll have 360 plus thousand. That I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it for the shock value, and it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use are, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, we use the words like love, life, hope, free, gift, grow, play, pray, swim, mind. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, yes. F-U, capital N, capital N. I know some purists in the audience say, hey, Barry Shore. Fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world, the world of the positive, purpose, powerful, and pleasant. Fun is spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and your friends, everyone have a twinkle in your eye and a smile on your face. Remember the stand, so point your fingers at her and say, hey, F-U, everybody. But remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. Say, where'd you get that? So I listen to Barry Shore on the joy of living. He wants to teach the world how to F you. Capital N, capital N. You get their attention. Then you can discuss what we're going to be talking about today with Sir Alec and Barry. So before we bring on this amazing being, and he is an amazing being, I want to urge everybody to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. Because when you do this, you're going to help you, your family, your friends, and all living beings. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. To harmonize and nurture kindness. The Dalai Lama wasn't quite as saying, I read in his writing, be kind whenever possible. And as he said, it's always possible. I'm going to do something right special right now. I can't think of anybody that's more kind. And kind stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. Nobody more kind than the person I'm going to introduce you right now, Sir Alec Stern. Alec, are you here with us? Can you say hello to 364,822 people around the world?
So should I say hi to each of them one at a time, or
one at a time? We got hours and hours, baby.
Hello.
Now you know why I have this guy on, because he's character and a half. And by the way, when I say Sir Alec Stern, I'm not whistling Dixie, and I wish I could actually. It'd be fun if I could. No, I can't whistle, but you're going to hear why, because Alec Stern is a remarkable being. And if I started telling about all the things that he has accomplished and the things that he is looking forward to accomplishing, it would take the rest of the show. So we're not going to do it, but I'm going to suffice by 3 items only. Number 1, he is a Sir, a peer of the realm, and he'll tell us how he got that. Number 2, he has been involved and grown several of the most important startups in the United States, made a lot of money, but more importantly, everything he does in business is oriented towards being of service. And that's really the essence of Alec's life. That's one of the reasons I'm so honored to have him with us today, because he's going to give us not just information that you can get anywhere. Matter of fact, I call it IO, Alec, information overload. Really what people want is transformation. So we're just going to jump right in and focus on what you are, because you are considered the ultimate guru of startups. That's really your handle in life and what you're best suited for. And that's really important because, let's be blunt, startups and small businesses, growing businesses are the backbone of the American economy. And we really need that to make sure that this great engine of goodness in the world continues. So let's just jump right in with your permission and start with one great question, which is, hey, you got a great idea. Well, now what?
No, I love that. It all starts with ideas, right? So I'd back up and ask one quick question of the audience, and something that they should think about. Do you think you're an innovator? When I ask that question, maybe 5% of the hands go up, and that's it. And I'll say, okay, on any given day, week, or month, do you experience a product or service and you say, wow, that could have been done better? If the service was actually delivered this way, or what if they added these features to that product? And you start noodling on that and you say, well, there is a better way. And 85%, these are my stats, 85% of the time, someone's going to take an idea around an existing product or service and bring it to market. And 15% of the time, it's going to be something that didn't exist before. And I've been on both sides of that, and so you think of things that we didn't have even as soon as 5 or 10 years ago. Airbnb and, Google and Facebook and, the Uber and we even did that with Constant Contact, a self-service small business marketing tool. And so if you think of something that it already exists and you want to do it better, if you noodle on that, you share it with someone else or others, someone says that, I had that same experience, I think that could be done better too, and they jump in and they work with you, then in fact you are an innovator. So we're all innovators because we think of things that can be done better or that don't exist, and gee, it would be great, if someone did, could actually deliver something like that. The only difference is that if you act on it, you're an innovator, and if you don't, you're not. And so it's really taking action, and that's the easiest thing to do. And once you've come up with that idea, to your point, what do you do next? So on any given day, I get asked probably, I don't know, on average 100 times, what do you think of my idea? And my answer every single time is, doesn't matter what I think, what's your target market think?
Wait a minute. Let's put you on pause for a moment, because again, information is readily available on the internet. It's too much even. What you just heard is transformational, because that's the answer to the question. It doesn't matter if Elon Musk likes it. Who cares? He's one person. What does a marketplace think about it, i.e. a targeted marketplace? This is wonderful. Thank you, Alex. Let's continue with this.
Yeah, and so you go out and you identify your target market, and don't look at it as the whole dartboard. What's in the bullseye? Like, what is your actual real target market? I'll ask questions and they'll say, well, I'm going to work with a business. What size business? Small business. Well, how are you defining small? There's a lot of different ways to measure it around employees and geography and number of customers or revenue and so on. But really hone in on exactly the bullseye of the target market, and then you're going to go out and you're going to ask them some questions. And the first thing you don't want to do is you don't want to go to family, because they're going to tell you they love you and that your idea is so phenomenal and you're going to be such a success.
Or, by the way, or they'll tell you such negativity that it would depress you. So
right.
Family
has, you got to get one end, one or the other.
Yeah, family is your worst place to go.
Right.
Thank you. I've known it.
You don't go to. You want to go. Don't want to. You don't. You if you want to feel good. If your my family was the positive family, so that if I wanted to feel good, I'd ask them, and you're going to be such a success. In other cases, I've seen the situation where it's the reverse, or the opposite, and so maybe you don't want to go there because that'll bring you down. But you also don't want to go to the people in your target market that you do business with and that you know. So a small business that you've bought from before, if you ask them something because you're a customer, they'll be like, they're going to always say something good, right? So you want to go to strangers, people you don't know, and the reason being is you're going to get brutal, honest feedback, right? And that is so key. So you're going to take your idea, and so instead of going to them, you're not going to spray and pray. That's what I call spray and pray. I'm going to keep talking and pray you heard something that interested you. Right? So you don't want to be spraying and praying. What you want to first do is you want to ask them some questions, kind of lead them a little bit and let them open up and talk about the things that are important to them. So you can ask them things like, what do you have in business that, that you wish you had more of? What don't you have that you wish you had? What's your 3-year vision, and are you on track to achieve it? With what you're doing day to day. Are you looking to increase revenue, decrease expense? Are you trying to get more customers or more revenue or new customers? What are you looking to to get out of business to take it to the next level or even to get started? And so they'll give you a little bit of a roadmap to what it is that they're interested in. And while they're doing that, you need to be listening. The key word in all of this is listening. That's why they gave you 2 ears. That's right. And 1 mouth. You want to be listening. If you take the letters of the word listen and you move them around, it spells silent. Right?
Wait a minute. Sir Alec, I love you. Do you want to know why? In addition to the fact that you're very nice, because this is part of my communication that I've been doing for the past 4 decades. It's specifically in the word listen. I use it for 3. I say we want to enlist the quiet mind and move into the silent mind. And then you go into deeper listening. So I use all 3. But yes, listen and silent, they are uniquely compatible.
Yeah.
And they will give you such remarkable input. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, this is yet another thing that we're aligned on. I love it. I don't quite have 4 decades, but I'll get there.
By the way, God willing. I want to unpack something that you said before, because again, this is, you're speaking from decades of vast experience in the trenches, asking these questions, not just of yourself, but of your business colleagues, and bringing successful businesses to fruition. And we'll talk about Constant Contact as an example in just a moment. But I want to urge everybody to understand that what we're doing here now and unpacking this is that you are listening to people around the world, Alec. And it's critical in today's environment, because for too long, the United States was the only place in the world where people could actually be capable of expressing themselves. Thank God it's happening more and more around the world. Before COVID, it was happening in China to an extent, certainly in Taiwan, Korea, Japan to an extent. But today, the big dog is India. I mean, what's happening in India to me is astounding, and maybe the great hope for the world in this coming century as a balance out to some dictatorial issues. We won't go into politics in a moment. But what's also happening around the world is that the mindset of people is changing. And I'm talking specifically about younger people, younger meaning under the age of 35. And 85% of our audience under 35. And I want to say to people 3 letters, FBC. FBC, as I think Sir Alec will attest, is the heart of the American experience, because he talked about it before. And it stands for faster, better, cheaper. When you can do things, like he said, are you an innovator? Well, maybe not. But wait a minute. But I know I can do that. Faster, better, cheaper. Hello? Is that not a formula for success?
Big time. And I think with velocity and execution.
Wait a minute. This is critical. He just said, he sprinkled the pixie dust.
Right, exactly.
I gave you the base.
But I think just velocity for me, and then also just your ability to execute. And I think that's the key thing. Like if there's so much room for existing products and services with people coming in and executing on it better than what existed. And that's why we see a lot of businesses that show up. They're not necessarily first. They're not maybe second or third, maybe fifth, but they're executing on it because there's a lot of industries that are asleep at the wheel. 75, 50-year-old markets, 75-year-old markets. This is how we've always done it. And they're asleep at the wheel, and someone's coming in and doing it better. And I have several examples of companies that I've been involved with starting that we found a large market, billions in revenue, that they were asleep at the wheel, and that someone could, we could wedge in with a different product than what existed. So it wasn't something new. It was just we executed on it better.
So let's be a name dropper. Let's talk about something that you and your group did where you found, this we've always done. Oh my gosh. This is like, wait a minute. This is like an infomercial now.
Act now and get free. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're all familiar with the walking cane, right?
Right, and certainly me. Hello, even though I don't use one, I use my.
I chose this one, because I'm sure you've experienced this. You have your 7-foot walking stick, but this is walking cane.
Right.
But oftentimes, people that are struggling in walking, so they're recovering from injury, illness, surgery, or age, where they can't access things, walking wise, but they also need a grabber, something to pick stuff up because they can't bend over or reach up on a shelf or can't get out of a wheelchair to get something. So we did the peanut butter cup model, right? Take the chocolate in the peanut butter. So this is you just engage this, and now you have a grasper at the end.
No, wait a minute. This is the first time I'm seeing this. And I got to tell you something, everybody. Okay. Hello, human experience. I cannot bend down and pick something up.
Right.
Now, I don't happen to have one of these, but because I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But the point is, and if I drop it, it stays on the ground till my helper comes. But this is I love it. This is too much fun.
Reacher grasper cane.
Right.
And we took two markets, the walking cane and the reaching grasper, two different markets, put them together, and we have the patent on a concealed grabber inside of a cane.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that nobody up until you got your patent had either thought about it, made the time, the effort to go and get a patent?
No.
Excuse me, jaw drop, pick it up and say, hello.
But this is an example of billions and billions a year in two different markets that were sort of asleep at the wheel. We all know that gray handled cane with the button to be able to, shrink or enlarge it.
Right.
That, it's like the hospital issued, and the graspers, pancakes. And after picking up something a little bit heavy, it bends and it doesn't work anymore. But just something to have the precision to pick up a paper clip or a piece of paper or a penny or something up to 5 pounds in weight off of a shelf in a kitchen or at a store or wherever it may be. So you get your independence, your mobility and freedom, to be able to have one, device that you walk around with that can serve many purposes. So.
Okay. I want everybody that's listening, and there, thank God, hundreds of thousands. You don't have to write anything down. I have to interrupt myself right now. Just go to my site, www.whatawonderfulworld.barryshore.com. barryshore.com. Go to barryshore.com. Everything about Sir Alec is going to be there. Okay, it might be pages and pages. It doesn't matter. Everything about Alec is going to be there, because what I want you to do is listen. Like he said, listen. You don't have to write notes just because you can have this available. Just listen and feel the energy. If you're watching this, look at his face light up. And if you're not, I'm telling you, his face is lighting up, because what he did with himself or with some friends or people who brought it to him, they identified, like he said, 75-year-old businesses that have always done things this way, meaning they're doing well. They're fat and happy. Well, we made them less fat and less happy because there's now competition. And not only is there competition, but he got a patent on something that if they want to use it and sell it for him, which they probably do because they have distribution channels, well, that's great. He's willing to do that because now he makes an override. And that's really the genius here, is that you don't want to necessarily have to be the only dog in the game. You can be sharing with other people. It's far better to have, let's say, access to those distribution. I'm making this up. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Sir Alec. To those distribution channels that are already in the hospital industry and say, hey, we're the big people. Great. Now you can use it and just give us, a couple bucks on everyone you sell. And there's an extra 50 million sales. I don't mean $50 million. I mean 50 million pieces.
Right. No, exactly. So the Reacher Grasper cane is just a great example of two large markets, and finding a way to just bring out a better cane and a better grabber. And we threw them together and got the patent. And so me and two other, I have another co-founder and there's a whole team that actually we worked on that of amazing engineers that worked on that to create it.
So let's discuss this process, because this is a great example. From the time that you were approached, and I'll say that you were approached, I don't know if this is true, but let's assume you were approached by one or two other people, and they said, hey, Alec, we like you, you know us, we know you, we have an idea, and you sketch it on the proverbial napkin. And from that time until the light bulb went off and said, okay, let's do our due diligence. What's the market size? What's the market reach? What is the target market, et cetera? And let's say that's a process of, I'll make it up, 2, 3, 4 months. And then finding out, by the way, nobody has a patent on this thing and we can do this. How long did that engine, what is the process? What was the steps before it became marketable?
Yeah, and so the scenario you just laid out, I've done several times. In this example, we created an innovation think tank, and we have myself and two co-founders, and then some other engineers, and we're out looking at markets ourselves and looking for opportunities. And this came to us from one of my co-founders going to visit a friend in the hospital that just had a knee replacement, and they gave him their survival kit, of the cane and the grabber and this, that, and the other, and the shoehorn and some other stuff. And neither were of good quality, and it really just became a brainstorm to let's just sort of look into this, and found that there were several products, several competitors in both product categories, but nothing that was of great quality. We said, oh, can we make the best cane, and can we make the best grabber? And then it came to how do we solve the problem of no one leaving the room or the home with both, and so it really was an aha moment. And then, doing the research and finding that, no one had actually put the two together and concealed a grasper inside a cane. So is this, that all of that work, it wasn't, we had some other products we were working on, in the think tank that were, kind of more on the forefront. But this one we were noodling on for a little while. And the thing we typically would do is go on and build a prototype, and try to just see if we can create something to test it and just see, and then get feedback. And this is back to my point about, when you're going out and earlier in the example I was laying out, you have an idea and you're going to go out and talk to your target market, and you're going to listen to what the things that they're saying to you, get that feedback, from them. And then when it's your turn to play back, what it is that you're doing, when they say, well, what are you up to? Or what are you working on? Well, let me tell you, and you're gonna, not spray and pray again of just talk and hope they heard something, and pray that they heard something that they're interested in. You're gonna, lead the witness, if you will, with a little bit of information and tell them a little bit more and engage in that conversation, kind of in tune with what they told you prior to you speaking. And then that, then if in the end of that, 2 questions can get answered. The first question is, is this something you see value in and that you could use, in your, for your business or personally? And if the answer is, yeah, of course, great. The second question, are you willing to pay for it? And if the answer is priceless, or that I can't even see myself not being able to, not living without it, right? Then you're onto something. So your target market is guiding you and telling you you're onto something. that's what fuels me and my partners and others that I've worked with, founders, co-founders, et cetera, to carry on. Because in this process of starting something, you're going to get the naysayers, you're going to get the people who are, jealous or envious. You're going to get, a lot of no's. And my mantra in life, no means not now.
Wait a minute. Let's go pause on that wonderful note. No means not now. We're going to we're honored to have people who love to support us through advertising and such. So we're going to have a short break. We're going to come right back with Sir Alec. Put on your seatbelt, because we haven't even begun to lift. We just lifted off the launch pad. We'll be right back after this brief message. More Sir Alec Stern on the other side of these brief commercials. Opportunity. What an opportunity. I'm going to use 2 4-letter words right now. Free gift. Free gift. Yes, you can have a copy of my best-selling book, The Joy of Living, How to Slay Stress and Be Happy, the ebook version, for absolutely free. All you have to do is send an email to me, Barry, Barry, at barryshore.com, and in the heading, the subject line, just write free gift. It's as easy as that. This is a life-changing, life-enhancing opportunity. Barry at barryshore.com. You'll be glad you did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Free gift. Do it now. Take the action. Make it happen right now. Best wishes. Bye. Imagine the kind of place you would want to shop for your favorite fur baby pet. HonestPets.co. Well, you found it. HonestPets.co. Not .com, .co. This is your go-to spot for the best, the cleanest pet treats that exist anywhere on the planet. All of the brands go through a rigorous review to make sure they meet the high standards of cleanliness, health benefits, and naturalness. This site was started by a husband and wife team, and it's veteran-owned, and that care about pets, especially dogs and cats, and coming soon, bird treats. These are very nice young people who really care about making a difference, because a portion of proceeds go to support veteran organizations with a focus on service dogs. This is the place where you want to go. You want to tell your friends this has the finest, yummiest, freshest, all-natural treats and stuff for your fur baby. So go there, honestpets.co. honestpets.co. Do it now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. A amazing being named Sir Alec Stern. He is the guru of startups. His CV is so long that I'm just going to post it on my website. Go to barryshore.com and revel in it and enjoy it. But you're already getting transformational information here, and it's going to keep coming at you, because we're talking about what you do as an innovator. We're sharing with you hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people around the world. 95% of you are innovators, based on what Alec taught us in the first couple of minutes, because you're looking at things and saying, wait a minute, that could be better. That could be better. How do you make it better? Et cetera, et cetera. And that's what an innovator is all about. What do you do? How do you make it faster, better, cheaper? And then, as he says, sprinkle in the pixie dust of velocity, and the most important, execution. When you can execute on something, then there's nothing going to stand in your way, because no from anybody, it means just not now. Isn't that right, Alec?
That's right. That's right. That's been my motto since I was a kid. No means not now. And I remember when I was young, hot summer day, go to my mom and ask, can I have an ice cream? And she'd say no. I'm like, well, why not? She said, because give me all the excuses. You had one earlier. You're gonna ruin your appetite. We're almost having dinner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I would do a chore, or I'd help her on a project, and I'm like, Mom, can I have an ice cream? She's like, oh, take 2. You've been so great.
Wait a minute. Okay, so there you see, from an early age, the innovator. He understood how to do faster, better, cheaper, and he sprinkled the pixie dust of velocity, and then he was executing. He executed on his plan.
Right. So I never hear no. And oftentimes when you get a no, if you're presenting something to someone, it's not necessarily kind of what you're talking about, but it's how you said it and when you said it. So you need to make sure that people are present and willing to listen. So oftentimes when they're willing to talk and you're going to hear from them, but sometimes they're not ready to hear what you have to say. So I'll always qualify it. Is this a good time for a chat? I'd love to tell you about something I'm working on that I think that could really help you. Is this a good time? And sometimes they'll say, to be honest with you, I'm really crazy. How about we schedule some time, or I come back, or, because you want to make sure they have the right frame of mind, to be able to receive what you have to say as well. And so, when you qualify that, that helps. And when you get a no, feedback's a gift. I would ask, can I just ask, why is it that, this is not of interest to you? I mean, it seems from our understanding and talking to other people, other small businesses, as an example, like that this has resonated with them. I'm just curious, why didn't this resonate with you? And then some will give you the feedback, and others will hesitate and maybe not. But I would always leave the door open and ask, can I stay in touch? I would love to kind of fill you in on our progress and tell you what's going on, and share some testimonials or other things. Would that be okay with you? And I've been able to take those no's and convert them to yeses later. So that's why when I say a no means not now, it means that I'm going to cultivate that relationship and turn that into a yes over time.
So I want to focus on what you just said here, because it's too easy to have someone listen or watching right now and say, well, yeah, look at this is the guy who did this and this and this, and he's successful and he's done it. And but what you're sharing with us is your journey. That you're in the trenches, not you've been in the trenches, you're in the trenches. I would be willing to wager that, in fact, in addition to the fact that you've had some great successes, thank God, that you did stumble. Hello, you're human. And if you didn't, I don't want to talk to you. So let's go talk. You've mentioned the term small business at least 5 times. I want to begin by my understanding of small business, and you'll help me shape it better for the audience. So small business, the textbook example, I believe, is anyone from 1 employee to 100 employees. And it's really about people who are innovators in their own particular market. And it may be a niche market or maybe a regular market. Regular, we'll call it pizza. I mean, if there isn't, how many different pizzerias are there in the United States of America? There's maybe as many people as there are in Italy. But if somebody comes along and says, well, I'm going to do a pizza, not a niche market. And yet somebody might come along and create a cane, which is also a grabber. And if you open up the top, it has a flask so you can drink your daiquiris or something. So, and get that patented and such. So there's the niche market person, and then there's the broad market person. But somebody's always wanting to do it because they care about not being, let's say, an employee and being their own person. Right. So you love small business. Is that correct?
Yeah. So in defining small businesses, there are solopreneurs, so 1 employee, which is the vast majority, but then do go up to as you said, up to 100. I look at it as like anywhere in the world, Main Street. And in fact, I think there are 3 states that don't have a Main Street, like New York. There's no Main Street in New York City, but I digress. But the Main Street, all those small businesses, you walk and see that, on first and second floors, sometimes, the basements of buildings on those main streets that, are serving all of us. And they're the lifeblood of our economy. And through thick and thin and all the stuff that we experience, with the economy and downturns and so forth, they're the lifeblood, and for me, small businesses are in my DNA, startups, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. And so I've always found a way to work in solving problems that they have. But you said something that I want to just touch on real quick. You mentioned something, well, oh, this guy, he's accomplished so much. I don't say anything about who I am, what I've done, or anything. If I'm bringing an idea forward, and I'm a co-founder of 6 things right now. Like, we're bringing things to market. I don't go on the laurels of my past, and my success. I'm just taking what is repeatable in having that success and doing it again. And I won't say anything because that will jade, someone in the conversation of to either want to be want to have me tell them more, or they want to talk about one of the things I did before or whatever. I'd want to tell them about this thing I'm working on and find out if one, is it of interest to them, and two, is it priceless and they want to pay for it. Then I know we're onto something. And then to that point about the laurels and, well, this guy, I get asked often. I spoke at something this past weekend, and I got asked the question, someone said, well, were you born with a silver spoon in your mouth? And, I'll be really straight and honest with this whole audience that I was. This is it, actually. This is my silver spoon. But the only difference is my mom bought this at a flea market.
Yeah. Okay. Most of us have a pewter spoon or any kind. Some people don't even have spoons. It doesn't matter. Very good.
This was mine from a flea market.
Right. Very good. And by the way, the ability to have a sense of humor and to be self-deprecating is part of the benefit of living and working in what we call the world of the entrepreneur, because that's really what this is about. Entrepreneurs are the people who are, one of a better term, I call it the restless leg syndrome. We can't stand still. We're always looking at what it is that can be better. Why not? I'll give you an example right now on something fascinating. You said it, but I want to look right now. Alec, I won't tell you where he lives, but he lives in a place called Back Bay in Boston. So I only mention it for several reasons. One, because I come from Boston, Dorchester. But back when I was growing up, I'm sure in the area where you live now was the most rundown part of Back Bay. I know because I grew up there decades and decades ago. But today it's an upscale place. But that's just the nature of the process of what we call cities. Things are always moving. People are innovating, renovating, growing, doing things. And people go out there and make things happen, take chances. It works, it doesn't work. But you also mentioned about constant contact. And I'd like to focus a little bit of time on that because you called it something fascinating. I was listening. You called it a small business tool. Now, when I was aware of constant contact the first time, I called it an email marketing system. But you didn't use that term, Alec. You called it a small business marketing.
It's a small business marketing tool.
Right, which is what it is because it has many pieces in its toolbox. But what it looked like was an email system. But you understood intuitively that what a small business needs are many things. It doesn't just need a way to communicate with email.
Yeah. So you raised a good point. 100% of our focus when we started was email marketing. Just giving them. The original premise was, how do we level the playing field for small businesses on Main Street against the big competitors out there like Amazon and others? Because the big guys had enterprise marketing tools, they had resources, they had agencies, they had all these things to help them, and Main Street small businesses had nothing. So how do we create something that's easy to use, self-service, that all they had to worry about was what they were going to say, when they wanted to say it, and to whom. And so, that was kind of that original premise.
At a very favorable price.
Yeah, and it started with a free trial. So
that's what I meant.
couldn't be any more favorable. And so we set out to do that so we could level that playing field for those small businesses. So that was the original premise. Going out and talking to our target market, they loved what we were doing, and they were like, I want to use this like for this weekend's sale, or I'm changing over my menu and I want to announce the menu to folks, and so there was a lot of things people were using, the age old, well, they already have they have an email inbox. What do they need this for? And there were a lot of reasons why, sending it, so that it, looked as professional and as the big guys, and, with all the tracking and reporting and all kinds of great things that came with it. But the bottom line was it was email 100%, that we were really setting out to just to give small businesses that chance with, to stay top of mind, to drive customers back in, to increase revenue, to get new people to come in as a result of someone getting it and forwarding or sending it on the message on to someone else, and so on, or bringing someone else in with them. And
So let's use this, because let's define the two biggest issues for any business, whether they're the size of Amazon or they're on Main Street. The two biggest issues that always exist and always will are, how do I keep my existing customers and acquire new ones?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right? How do I, and we all know, well, no, I'm sorry, I'm presuming something. It's been studied and revealed that it is actually less expensive to keep an existing customer than to acquire a new one. So your system, let's say in this case, Constant Contact, was really a welcome tool to be able to maintain that relationship with existing customers and sprinkle enough pixie dust in and say, hey, if you share this, I'd appreciate it. And if you do, and people come in, I'll give you something. In other words, the ability to leverage that tool so that you keep the existing ones and acquire new ones, because that's really what business is all about. If you want to open up 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 1,000 locations, well, it's a matter of how you communicate, correct?
That's true. That's true. But a little pixie dust needs to be added on that.
That's why you get him. That's why you're Sir Alec.
That's right. I just have a pocket full of it. So let me get some out here. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Woo!
Yeah. And so I think one of the things that people think that it's all about going to get the the next customer, right? And so they leave their sort of existing customers behind while they go chasing something new, not realizing that their best prospect is their current customer, because one, there's a relationship and an affinity there, and two, you can drive action for them to come back in or tell others and so on. But we used to use the viral effect. We can't use that anymore. COVID ruined that. So we say the referral effect. So the referral effect, your current customer, your best prospect.
Referral effect, yes.
Referral effect, right? Your current customer is your best prospect because after so many touches of you sending things to them, they're telling others about you. So when you can get your a fair amount of your business from referrals from your current customers, that's free marketing. There's no cost of acquisition if someone who loves you and tells someone else. And that's so you have to deliver on getting your customers on what I call the happy path, that they're happy as a customer and they move up a continuum. They start, you don't know them first, so they're a suspect. You know them, they learn of you, they're a prospect. They do business with you, they're a customer. They do more business, they're a repeat customer. They then become a fan, and then they become a raving fan.
Yes, we love raving fans.
That's right. So you get a raving fan, they're gonna be the ones who are gonna step in and tell others. Or if someone has a bad experience, you step away from the keyboard on social, don't respond. Your raving fans and customers will say, that's not the norm. They're amazing. I don't know what happened there. And you could swoop in and be like, look, that's not how we do business, as you've heard from our customers. Let's go offline and we'll make good on that, and we'll fix it. So you can come in and save the day as Superman, but your customers are gonna, be the ones who are gonna be there positively. And also if there's something happens that maybe didn't go the way it should, happens all the time. Hopefully not too often for a business, but that gets dealt with when you move your customers down a continuum to becoming raving fans.
Again, I promise it, and we're delivering. This is transformational. This is not just information. The information is, well, gee, look at this, look at this. This is transformational, truly wonderful. I appreciate this, and I believe that many tens of the thousands of people are listening, leaning in right now, and they'll be listening. I urge you all to do the following. Make sure you listen to this again, because the first time is interesting, the second time becomes instructional, and the third time becomes inspirational and therefore actionable. Am I correct on that, Sir Alec?
Yes, you are.
I'd like to ask you a question that's been sitting with me for a while. A lot because people think that we live in a world today that's different than it was 20 years, 50 years, 100 years ago. And on some level, human nature never changes on some level. But in others, let's be blunt, we have a very different kind of environment today because of social media and the ubiquity of it than we did, let's say, even 20 years ago, as you pointed out. When you began Constant Contact or that particular process, which is now almost 20 years ago, plus minus, the rule of thumb was 7 touches before you really have somebody's attention, as it were. Has that changed at all? Is it more today than it was when you started, or do you see that it's still about 7 times before you get somebody's attention?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'll leave that to the experts these days to give you the exacts, but I would tell you that this is a multi-touch. All of this is multi-touch. You can't. There's nothing that anyone can do. That one touch is going to get you the typical 1% to 2% response rate at best. I mean, that's nature. Whether it's a postcard, or something in the mail, or it's something in the inbox, or it's something in social media, like that's a touch, and it may spawn something. But if you stay top of mind when they're ready to take action, and you move to those multiple touches, then you move up from the 1% to 2% to 50%, that will take action. And that requires those 7 to 10 touches, right? And they have to be different. If you send the same message, same post on social 7 to 10 times, they're going to go numb to it and miss it. So you mix it up and you change it, and you also need variety. Make sure you got that maybe you have their email address, or the most intimate and direct conversation is in someone's inbox. It stays there, doesn't go anywhere. They can look at it once, a second time, they could forward it, they could take action from it. When it's on social, it's a stream of conversation. If you're not in the conversation on social media on a particular day because you're busy, something might have shown up that you would have loved, and it's from your favorite customer, your restaurant or your spa, or the gallery, or whoever it may be. And if you're not in social media, it's the conversation just sort of moves down and eventually can float
and passes
away.
You by.
And it could pass you right by, and unless somebody you've close to you comments on it or likes it, or maybe some things in the algorithm to move it back up to the top. So the touches have to be a variety of touches so that you catch them, in those different places. But you need to know where they're hanging out. So depending on your target market, what social channels are they on? Are they on all of them, or are they? They're the younger set that is just moving to the next hot one, or the ones that no one else is using. The Snapchats, that adults are not necessarily using, like the younger set. So you have to know where they're hanging out and make sure you're touching them there, and then find other ways. And everyone, there's that age old, like, print is dead and email's dead, and the bottom line is that it's still alive and well and doing better. You go look at any source, people are still relying on that thing in the mail, and in the middle America, that thing in the catalog, and that also on the inbox, and not just just strictly on social. And these touches can be very inexpensive, but it's the whole concept around multiple touches drive more action.
It's almost too easy to say what you just did, but you gave it, that was sort of the top. That was the cherry on top of the Dairy Queen. I'm saying Dairy Queen only. That was sort of inside baseball stuff. Because what you did is you built that wonderful pyramid of intricacy that if you really want to be in business, and by the way, I love business. I've been involved since I was 10 years old, shoveling snow in Boston on days when it was called off through the radio. You didn't have internet and such. And I learned so many wonderful lessons from shoveling snow and working with other people, and learning how to say no to a client. Interestingly enough, one of my greatest lessons was when the householder says, I asked for $10 to shovel the driveway, and they say, I'll give you $5. And I thought about it, and I turned and I say, thank you, no. And as I turned down the driveway, I said, wait a minute, I'll give you $7.50. It was for a 10-year-old kid, that was big. I'd like to ask you if you have a final piece of advice or mantra in addition to your no is just not now. Is there something you'd like to?
Yeah, no, happy to. So I'll give you two quick ones. One of my other mantras is accomplishments are something to build on, not celebrate on. And so when you think about you've conducted a great call. So whether it be on the phone, on a Zoom or face to face, and you've had success in convincing someone to take a closer look at something that you're offering. Possibly even say, yeah, we'd love to subscribe or buy it or what have you. So oftentimes people will just want to go and celebrate, like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. I'm going to celebrate. And my response back is, no, the energy and the endorphins and everything that you've just, accomplished are in you. Take advantage of that and make another call, and then have success and make another call. And then at the end of the day, celebrate.
Okay. I'm listening, and I trust many others are as well. Thank you. You want to add one more before we ask you 3 quick questions?
Yeah. So one of my other favorite mantras is look big, act big, become big.
Look big, act
big,
big, become big. Would you like to know what big is in my lexicon?
Yes.
Believe in giving.
Wow. Okay.
You like that?
And when you become big, then you can big.
Then you're big. And by the way, WOW stands for words of wisdom, words of wonder, which you've been sharing with us. Okay, wonderful, Sir Alec. Are you ready for 3 questions, sir?
But yeah, I'll give you a quick response.
Yes.
So look big, act big, become big.
Yes.
Think of all the things that you can do in the earlier days when you're starting a business to set yourself apart. Think of your brand. How many of you have an email address that ends in Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, if you're older, AOL, etc.? Spend the $5. You have a domain for your business. Spend the $5 to get a branded email address so someone can take you seriously. Like, you have to think of the things to look, to look big, right? Branding, brand some clothing, have a shirt with your name on it, or some other swag that you're carrying around. Your presence when you're speaking to somebody. Create 5 quick slides and formalize the conversation. Hey, Barry. Appreciate your time. I just created a couple of slides I'd love to go over with you, just to to sort of frame the conversation. Those 5 slides are who we are, what we do, what makes us unique, what our customers are saying, and how we might partner or work together. 5 slides, you brand those, and then you deliver that and so you're looking big now, you're acting big. And they see the professionalism in you, and not just sending short little quips in text or email and, or a quick kind of conversation, verbal conversation. I always ask, can we jump on a Zoom? And then say, I just, have a couple of things, to start kick off the call. Would you be okay with that? They always say yes. Send them a PDF of that so they have it to review. They share it with their team. You have a follow up with the team, and then you ask to use the slides again, just to level set for everyone. And then you look, like this isn't your first time, even though it might be, and you look professional, and then ultimately you'll end up winning that business and becoming big.
Big, big, big.
Or bigger.
Yeah, and biggest, and be a giver, believe in giving.
That's right.
Oh, wonderful. So, Alec, this is truly a delight, a treat, a pleasure. 3 quick questions, sir. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 1 question, will you come back again?
Yes.
Ooh, thank you. Number 2, you have 80 seconds only to answer this question.
All right. Do I have to time it?
I'll time you.
Okay.
What is your most fervent desire?
Wow. Mine is to, I work what I call urban innovation, working with the inner city and helping small businesses, and also starting with youths, and to come up with ideas, to ideate and come up with ideas to start businesses. And if you have one, how do you scale it? It's so important to me for the inner city, because they're sometimes their mentors may not even be alive, or may not be going down the right path that they should follow. And this gives them a chance, and many of them have amazing ideas. You just got to unpack it. So work with the inner cities, and we all have skills that we can help them with whatever we do every day.
And the third, may I give you a hug in front of 368,229 people around the world?
Yes.
Okay. HUG stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. Are you ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. And this is The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, and our amazing Sir Alec Stern. And I'm going to emphasize again that this show is not about Sir Alec, wonderful fellow that he is, or even Barry Shore, that amazing guy that he is. This show is about you. Y-O-U, you becoming the best you possible, because when you're the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. And we work here, of course, with the three fundamentals of life, as Sir Alec has helped point this out. Number one, life, your life has purpose. You lead a purpose-driven life, you can go mad. MAD is a great acronym. It stands for make a difference in the world. Sir Alec, making a difference. And number three is to unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. And when you do this, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? And what is this? The first one, WWW. What a wonderful world. When you hear it, you smile right away. SMILE stands for seeing miracles in life every day. As my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. The ability to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words in your life. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation makes the difference in your destiny. Use 4-letter words. Remember that we live in the world of positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. So our 4-letter words are hope, love, life, grow, free, play, pray, swim, mind, mine. And use the 4-letter FU word. FU, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see a family of friends, point your finger, say, FU, everybody. But remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. So where'd you get that? I said, I listened to Barry Shore. He had on Sir Alec Stern. He says he wants to teach the world to FU, capital N, and use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, every single day from now and the rest of your life. It will make a benefit for you, your family, your friends, and all living beings. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and network kindness, to harmonize and nurture kindness. Kind, keep inspiring noble deeds like Sir Alec Stern. So we give a blessing to everybody. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Alec, don't go away, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.